My name is Gary Schiller.
And I'm Wendy Scheller.
The first time we ever went to Atlee was in 1996. We had come down to visit friends we were living in Massachusetts. A good friend of mine was down here, and we came down to visit, and he and his wife both said, you can come down for the weekend, but you have to go to church.
But you can wear jeans.
But they said we could wear jeans and sneakers.
Oh, and sneakers. That was the clincher.
Yeah.
Jeans and sneakers.
It's only an hour. So we both rolled our eyes and said, okay, we'll go. So that was once in 1996. We then came back the following year and said, hey, we want to come visit. Can we go check out your church again? And they did say yes. We've been attending Atlee Church for almost 20 years. I distinctly remember sitting in the audience and the curtain opening, and there was this long blonde-haired guy with a screaming guitar playing something which I wish I could remember, but it was a secular song that was not a church song. It surprised the daylights out of me. And so that's how we started.
And you could understand what the pastor was talking about, even though you knew he was reading from a Bible. And it was like the message was just for me. I still remember the first message was about righteousness.
We had some personal stuff going on at the house we were renting. We were no longer going to be able to stay there, and there was a couple other things that were going on. Mm-hmm. So we said, and we got invited by Tom, you guys should move down here. I think it was a joke.
Yeah.
They might regret it now.
That's how you know if your friends are good friends or not.
But we moved down here, and then...
Oh, and we joined their small group.
We did join their small group.
They invited us, and what was interesting to me, finding out later and understanding more, was that they had been praying with their small group for us for a really long time, people we didn't know. I was blown away by that people we didn't know would be praying for us. I always say that God had to take us 500 miles to get our attention. We were living in Massachusetts. We were doing okay, but we hadn't been married very long. And I tell Gary now, I didn't think our marriage had a lot of longevity to it at that point. But when we moved down here, everything changed for us. We went to small group with our friends. Doors opened that hadn't opened. Gary got a job that was based on a conversation he had when we were here in July visiting and had not moved. He got a job based on something he had never done before. He had no experience doing, and he had no reason for a job like that. That's a God thing. So we just came to church. Once we moved, we came to church, and we didn't stop coming. And
Tom got me involved in doing lights.
Yeah.
Personally, I started serving because it was fun. I ran lights in the high school. So I was on the lighting board all the time, and it was a good thing because, and I joke about this a lot, even though it's partially true, I liked to be on the schedule so I would go to church. It was part of my reason to be here, because I'm not the most motivated person, and if I could find an excuse not to come to church, it usually, had lots of coffee in the morning. So being on the schedule helps me be at church, be plugged in. I got to meet a lot of new and interesting people. I have some very good friends at the church, and it helps me plug in and then get to know people and talk to people, stuff like that.
Right. We serve because it's personal, because we're committed. This is our church. Why wouldn't we give it everything we have? If somebody wanted to get involved here, I would totally tell them that they should volunteer for the children's ministry. It's the best ministry, first of all. We have the most fun and the best kids. And that's definitely the best place. That's where I started volunteering, and I never stopped.
I don't know. I think the tech team might be a lot of fun too. It depends on who the person is.
But that team's not important.
Oh, okay. I see how this works.
No, the kids are more fun.
Tom, my good friend, was always asking questions and working on me, and I never even realized it. And I kept saying, well, I'm fine, I'm great, I believe in Jesus, I believe in God, I believe in all this stuff that I thought was important. And Tom finally at one point in time just looked at me and said, well, you know the devil believes in God and Jesus also, and he's definitely not saved. So just believing in it doesn't save you. And I think I told you about that conversation.
Yeah, we had talked about it, and I took the Contagious Christian class with Jeff, and I went home and talked to Gary about it, and we drew the bridge drawing that Jeff always draws on stage. And, he knew he didn't want to be where he was, and we prayed about it.
Yeah.
And, and then he got baptized that summer. And the day he got baptized, we were expecting our daughter then. I think Atlee is the kind of place that to help you feel like you belong, you get plugged in, you volunteer, you go to a small group, you come to the membership meeting, try things and get involved so that you can get an idea of what kind of church it is and see if it's for you. But it's worked out for us for a long time. This is our home. This has always been our home since the day we came.
That too.